Hey everyone, this is Spider-Fan 101, and welcome to the first episode of Box Office Talk. This is a series I'm really excited to do, and it matches like my enthusiasm for movies and, how much they take in. So, I just going in, I'm not sure how long this is going to be, but I'm not going to go over all of them, but I'm just going to go over the top 20 for this weekend. So yeah, let's get into it. Overall, I thought this weekend was pretty good. I mean, it was an okay weekend for the movie season this weekend. And a lot of films have made their budget back, some haven't, some are still doing so, and some are still doing well. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's start with AQUAMAN. Now, AQUAMAN, I think, surprised everybody with the worldwide total, which was at the time, which was in its second weekend, $700 million. Especially because of the fact that in the first weekend it started off with, I think it was 60, and then the second weekend went over 700 million, and that's of course combined with the worldwide and domestic. So it's by the third weekend it's going to hit $1 billion. Like, some people have said that this weekend it'll hit $1 billion. I mean, it got close, but it's not really there yet. But seeing as though it's over 900 million, of course, it's gonna, like, by next weekend it will. And domestically it's not doing too bad, $259 million. So yeah, that's good. I mean, I really like AQUAMAN. I thought it was a great film. My review will be in the description down below. But yeah, I thought it was a great movie, and great movies deserve great success. So, props to everybody that worked on that movie. Down to the next one, which I don't see how got number 2, which is Escape Room. Now, Escape Room has a budget of $9 million, and it made 18 domestically. So that's all right. But I don't see how this movie. I mean, this is just one of those films, in my eyes, it's one of those films that like releases in early January just to make a quick buck. So, no surprise there, because, all these films usually make their money back, so I'm not really surprised at that. But, $900 million budget, $18 million intake, so it's pretty good for Sony, because, they distribute the movie. Now, on to next one, Mary Poppins Returns, making $257 million with a budget of $130 million. Now, I did not review Mary Poppins, but I will say this, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. It was like I was watching, it, and I felt like I was in Disney World. Speaking of which, I have a Disney World vlog coming soon on my vlogging channel. It was from last summer, but I'm still planning on releasing it. I'm still editing it right now, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, I really enjoyed this movie, and I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10 because I really enjoyed it. The songs were great. The 2D animation was spectacular. It was just a great movie. But of course, the foreign was 119 million and domestic was 138 million, and seeing as though Mary Poppins is like one of the Renaissance Disney franchises, it makes sense as to why this film would make as much money as it's making. And I think it's really good. I think Disney has had a strong 2018, and it was wonderful with all the anime films that came out, specifically Incredibles 2 and Ralph Breaks the Internet, and I know there were others, but I'm forgetting right now. With the Marvel films especially, Star Wars, they only released Solo this year, but, that was great as well. Even with the live action films, Mary Poppins, The Nutcracker, all of those were just great films. So I think that Disney has had a great 2018, and I hope they have an even better 2019. Because I am forever loyal to Disney in every way, and I'll support them without a doubt. So, yeah. Mary Poppins, 257 million, and 257 million intake. Budget is 130 million. Alright. So, now on to Spider-Man. Now, Spider-Man. The intake for this weekend is $275 million with a budget of $90 million. That is obviously very impressive. And there's a lot of worry going with this movie because, not because of its quality or anything, but because of the fact that it was said to have like a low intake. And, that obviously wasn't true. The first weekend was, huge. It set records. The second weekend was obviously even better. And now the third weekend is, as you can see, even better. So, yeah. This is overall very impressive. Now, sometimes with these movies, the domestic total counts as, like, I personally don't get how the domestic total really counts, because for me the worldwide is the one that's really important. So if you were to pay attention to anything with the box office, I just stick with the worldwide totals. So yeah, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse doing really good, and yeah, in terms of fanfare and box office and all that. So great job. Now to my favorite one, Bumblebee. I absolutely love Bumblebee. I honestly think it's the best film of December. It's not my favorite Transformers movie. Like I said, that one would be Age of Extinction, but it definitely comes into second place. I love this movie. And the first weekend really worried me because the first weekend was like really low. But as the weekends piled up, it started doing better. As you can see, like, first weekend was around 30. And that was just, that my heart sunk when I saw like 30 million. And then the second weekend it was 100-something million, and now it's 200-something million with a budget of $135 million. So now seeing that the film is a success is really good. And really, because I'm not trying to get another Power Ranger situation on my hands, I'm telling you right now. Because I love Power Rangers, that's a great movie, but it flopped. So now that Hasbro owns the rights to Power Rangers, hopefully Hasbro is going to make a sequel to that movie. Hopefully. But yeah, nothing has really been confirmed. So yeah. Back to Transformers. It was said that if this film does well, that not only are they going to continue the Transformers franchise, but they might do like more new things with it as well. With me, like, I just want to get a resolution to the loose threads in Transformers 5. That's all I want. I mean, if we never get it, I could just picture what the outcome would be in my head, but, all I want is just a resolution from Transformers 5. You can do whatever you want, but I just want a resolution. But yeah. And before I move on to the next one, I heard some interesting debate going on in terms of who had the better year, Haley Steinfeld or Emily Blunt. And I'd say it's not out. For me, I don't see it as competition, because they both had great years. Haley Steinfeld had Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and Bumblebee. Emily Blunt had A Quiet Place and Mary Poppins. And, they could have had more, but I don't know, I might be blanking, but those are the two main ones that everybody's focusing on. And I think that they both had great years, So props to both of them for having great years and making great career choices. So, yeah. Bumblebee, worldwide intake, $289 million with a budget of $135 million. Very good indeed. The rest here are really just, independent films, but I'm just going to get through them quick because I don't really have much to say about independent films, but, The Mule, This is the film that was directed and starring Clint Eastwood. This film has made $81 million on a budget of $50 million. For what the budget is and what the intake is, I think that's really impressive. Because I saw a trailer for this movie, and it looked pretty interesting. I mean, it didn't look like something I would see in theaters, but it did look pretty interesting. And the fact that, it has like all the good buzz surrounding it, especially around, Golden Globes and Oscar season, I think it'll definitely win something. Although I want the films that I want to win in terms of Golden Globes and Oscars would be A Star Is Born, some of the Marvel movies for visual effects, Black Panther for possibly Best Picture, Spider-Man definitely for effects, Aquaman for effects, I'm blanking. What other films have come out? Because 2018 was a massive year. So many things came out that I'm forgetting what other films I saw besides superhero films that should win awards. But yeah, the main one that I would want to win an award that's not connected to any superhero film would probably be A Star Is Born, because that film was excellent. And The Hate U Give. There you go. The Hate U Give. That was a great movie. But back to and it really shouted out Amandla Steinberg's talent in terms of acting. Sorry if I got her name wrong, but Anyway, going back to this movie. $81 million intake, $50 million budget. Pretty good. Not spectacular, but pretty good for what it is. Next, going on to this film Vice, which I am sure that this film is based on an HBO series. I know it, because I've heard the name Vice before. Besides this movie, I've heard it before. But $29 million budget, $29 million intake. The budget has not been disclosed, but $29 million is not that bad. I mean, depending on what the budget is I would assume it's very low, because this could not have been a film that goes over like $10 million. It can't be. Especially seeing what the film is actually about. It looks something that's very low budget. So, yeah. Not really much to say about this one, but yeah, I could have sworn I heard about it in the grand scale of HBO news before. I'm pretty sure I've heard it, but maybe I'm bugging. Second act. This is a movie that I wanted to see, because I saw the trailers and the one singular trailer, and it looked like a pretty good feel-good movie. And the fact that Jennifer Lopez and Vanessa Hudgens star in the movie, two actresses that I absolutely love. Jennifer Lopez, the last film I saw her in was The Boy Next Door. If you've followed my channel for a long time, you know how much I hate that movie. But she was the best part about it. So, and Vanessa Hudgens. Vanessa Hudgens and I go way back. I've been a fan of hers since the High School Musical days. So, of course, I'm a big fan of hers. And so I wanted to see it. I didn't get to see it yet. I'll probably get to see it like next weekend. But, I just really want to see it. It looks great. But $39 million on a $16 million budget, that's great. Especially for how low the budget is and how big the intake is. I think that's really good. That's really good. And obviously the domestic is $32 million. But to me, the domestic doesn't really matter, because the worldwide budget is like it put all together. So that would be the most important for me. But yeah. Saying that, I really want to see it. From the trailer that I saw, it looked great. and hilarious, and so I want to see it. And it did great. Now, Ralph Breaks the Internet. This movie, as you all know, I love this movie. I said in my review that I want to marry this movie. This movie's my baby mama. And I still think that right now, because I still think that to this day, because I have 3 posters of this movie up on my wall. When it comes out, I'm getting the Blu-ray. I think it topped the first one in every way. Just everything about the movie was just great, fantastic. I just had a great time with that movie. And it was an absolutely phenomenal experience, especially with that Disney realm. I am obsessed with that Disney realm, and it makes me think about Disney movies in such a different way now. Now that the Disney realm has been introduced in it, but hey, we're talking about box office here. So $400 million plus on income, and the budget being $175 million. That's very impressive. And of course, I'm not going to talk about the domestics anymore, because those don't really count in my eyes. But yeah, it's doing very good. And I'm surprised it took the film this long to get to this point. Like, I thought at, like, this point it would be around like, 700 million. Seeing as though Wreck-It Ralph 2 is a sequel that, like, has been asked for about, I don't know about as many times as Incredibles 2, but it was a highly requested sequel, and now that it's out, and there's all this great press around it, I would imagine I would make more at this stage than, 400 million plus. But this is still a great total. I'm not taking anything away from it. But yeah, I love this movie. I'm glad it's being successful. Holmes and Watson. This movie actually, like, I saw the trailers, and it didn't really look that funny to me. I mean, Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly, they're usually like a great combo together in terms of comedy. And, I thought that would have sold the film alone, but, seeing as though it came out in what I call the movie apocalypse, that didn't really work out for the film. So this is actually the first, I guess you could call it, flop that we're going to talk about, because at this point it's been out for like 2 weeks, I think. So, yeah, it made $35 million on a $42 million budget. So this would be a flop, I hate to see flops, because, there are such great people in the making of films, and they try their best to put out the best movie that they can every year, and hundreds and hundreds of different directors and studios get their shine. And so I hate seeing movies flop, but it just is what it is. So yeah, Holmes and Watson made $35 million on a $42 million budget. It's unfortunate, but that's what happens. Now going on to the next one, Bohemian Rhapsody. So Bohemian Rhapsody, this film did a lot better than I think anybody thought it was going to. Now this is of course a biopic, and I don't really have anything against biopics. It's just I'm not really interested in biopics, because if I want to learn about something, I'll just research it. But the film did astronomically. It made over $700 million plus on a $52 million budget. That is a massive success. And I think this movie is by Fox, I think. So yeah, good on Fox, because that is a massive success. Yeah, that is massive. So yeah, good on that movie for doing like super well. Mary Queen of Scots. I've actually seen trailers for this movie, and it looks pretty interesting. Again, not something I would really see in theaters, but like from the trailers, it looks cool. $13 million. Again, This movie also has its budget secretive. And again, like a movie like this, I could not imagine if it was around like over $10 million. I couldn't. Especially with the story and how it takes place in the past and everything. Like, there's no way that all those like corset dresses and wigs cost like $10 million. So, yeah, there's no way. So I would assume it's around like under $10 million. And if that's the case, then $13 million is not bad. Especially for a film that has a limited release. And again, this is one of those films that could very well win something for like an Oscar or a Golden Globe. So, yeah. The favorite, I don't know what this movie is, but it's another limited release. And, you know, stars Olivia Colman, whoever that is. Emma Stone is in this movie, Rachel Weisz. And it made $26 million. Again, it seems like all the films that don't have wide releases have their budget kept a secret. Sorry about the phone ringing. It seems that all of these films that have don't have wide releases keep their budget a secret. But, you know, it's not that, well, it is important, but, you know. So the budget, the intake is $26 million, and that's not bad.